staying with us. In case you just joined us, you're watching AM Ghana here on Adwa Television. My name is Reginald Addy, and so far been holding the fort with Juliana Ijoma, the lady of the kitchen and the lady of the house. I've been discussing some, African delicacies, and yes, we're in the African month, and still Sonotech is holding you down, even though we've passed the month of love, because Sonotech wants to show you some love. So Sonotech is saying that come with your partner and have up to 20% discount on all their laboratory services. Sonotech has three branches here in Accra. They have one in Tema, they have one in Osu, and one in the West Hills Mall. And give you exquisite and excellent services. Look, Sonotech is not one of those laboratories that you go and those, excuse me, unprofessional nurses will be heckling you and paper away. No, they're very nice, and in fact, sometimes even though you don't need laboratory services, you would just want to visit Sonotech because of the wonderful treatment that you get from over there. So I'm encouraging you this morning. If you need to do any form of scan, any form of laboratory need, and in fact they have a pharmacy as well. So you can just walk into their pharmacies at any of their branches and also purchase your prescribed medication. They don't work without prescriptions because they are abiding citizens and an abiding, law-abiding company as well. Now, in the meantime, I have two fine guests. I would wish to call them a couple because, of course, it's a man and a woman, so that I take them to Sonotech for the 20% discount service. They are NDC and NPP communication reps, and the future is bright.
The future is bright. Yeah.
How are you doing?
Doing very well by God's grace. I hope you
Yeah.
are too.
Yes, I certainly am doing well.
God is
I
in
use
control.
Ijoma's words. I'm blessed and highly favored. That's
Yeah.
what she says every day. All right. So yeah, with due diligence done. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well
Mm,
by the grace of God. And in
mm.
times like this, we can only trust in the Lord and continue to do our best to help our country develop and help our country grow. Of course, we have a number of challenges, but I believe that if we can always come together, have progressive conversations, and think about our country first, I think we will be able to overcome the many challenges we are faced with. So all hopes are not lost.
Mm.
There is so much we can still do. But I think if we can always have a progressive conversation,
Mm.
we will be able to make progress. So I think it's good.
Well, let's try as much as possible to make this conversation this morning
Mm.
a progressive one. And I believe that, Auntie Frida, you agree with Mr. Yao Menu here. Before we get into anything, just about a week ago, we saw full prices, jump to 7.9, within that range, with varying, decimals, from depending on where you visit. Just a couple of days ago, what we feared happened, breaking the eight. How do you feel knowing that fuel prices are preceding or running faster than the ambitions of the New Patriotic Party? This
Good.
one got you, eh?
Oh, no,
Okay,
it hasn't at all.
I see.
Good morning to our viewers,
Mm,
management and staff of Adwa TV,
mm,
and then, of course, to my party, from our president to our national executives. We started our elections. We are done with the polling station elections. It's left with the coordinators, and you go to the national executive. All I'm praying for is that we have a very good elections. I pray that it's become violent free. I ask my people to have a lot of patience. I mean, it's a human institution, so definitely
differences here and there.
Yes, whoa. And for me, somebody said, "Hey, Frida, you are traveling. Your name will be taken." So if you take my name out, what have you?
Oh, you're not partaking?
No, I am.
Very well.
But what I'm saying is that, yeah, it is something that we all take it serious. Politics is a very serious business. So those in charge, those who want to be in positions, we are all asking that they should, tempers should go down. We should tolerate each other. We should listen to each other's views so that we have a very perfect election through to flag bearership. So kudos to NPP. We always do it right, and I know that this time too, we will get it right. And to my constituents, Adenta. My brother, fuel prices. Fuel prices. We all buy fuel. If you don't buy, you use the public transport, so you somehow pay. So, and we know that when fuel prices go up, it affects everything. Thankfully, this morning when I was coming, I was monitoring the radio station, and I heard that the president is coming to do something to cushion Ghanaians. But what we should know
what is he coming to do?
He's coming to do something to cushion Ghanaians.
Okay, you don't have the
yes,
details
I don't have
of
the
the
details.
matter.
So, I believe that in the next few days to 1 week, something positive will come. You know that he has done it before. Some time back, just about 2 months ago, I mean, he called and then he realized that, especially Goyle, brought the years down drastically. But we shouldn't forget about
Is it because of the zeroing of the price stabilization levy?
Of course, he took some shocks. The government took some shocks. And that is what brought about, let me say, subsidies. That's what brought about the lower. But of course, we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that fuel prices everywhere is going up. Prices generally of every commodity worldwide is going up. And Ghana is not different. So I think that, yes, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Even, I was telling somebody, even SNIT contributions that we enjoy at our old age, if we are paying now, we find it very difficult to pay. You get people, as an employer, if you tell somebody to go and register, but I even, at times I have to push my staff to go and register for SNIT. Because they know that you take it from there.
I mean, these things, things they should have done before, you even take them.
Oh, no, you take them on. Those who come with it, fine. But those who you take them on, then you encourage them to do. But they know that it's going to take, it's going to be taken from their salary. And then, but when they go on pension, then they really want to enjoy what they didn't want to do. So that's what I'm saying. Payment in every situation is difficult. In the form of taxes, in the form of, it's very difficult. But at the end of the day, we come to enjoy. We realize that President Kufuor's time, barrel of crude oil went as high as $148 per barrel, and we had to take all the shots. So for me, I think once it's not Ghana, it's not Ghana in isolation. It is the whole world experiencing it. You know, last week I was talking to a friend in Italy, and then he was complaining that those times you could take 50 euros to the shop and you could buy a lot of things. But now he takes 50 euros to the shop and he buys only 1 or 2 things and then come. Everywhere, worldwide, globally, everybody is complaining. Things are hard. And now, see Ukraine and Russia, I believe it's going to add up to fuel increases and other things. So for me, it is unfortunate. I won't say that it's unfortunate. You buy fuel 100 cedis, you use it 2 days, and then you have to buy again. It's unfortunate, but that is the reality. It's not like government is not doing something right. That is why fuel prices are increasing. It is a global something, and we can never run away with it. All that we have to do is that as a continent, we have to, or as a nation, how can we do so that we also get our own? And there's some when all these world shocks come, we will not feel it that much. But as it stands now, the whole world, I mean, we have even some of the developed countries who are buying fuel more than the price of Ghana we are buying. You understand? I think last week, I think some are buying it, I think UK, 20 pounds. Yes, I was chatting with a friend, 20 pounds. Because I always try to, because for the purpose of communication,
well,
I always try to
you agree that these are not oil producing countries. And so, if perhaps you want to compare, then maybe let's go to Nigeria. You know, and that is an oil-producing country. Nigeria is buying a liter of fuel for 166 naira. Now, when you convert, that is about 2 cedi, 50 pesos or so. How come we are buying a liter of fuel at 8 cedis, where Nigeria in itself recently got hit by fuel crisis as a result of over 100 tankers of fuel that were produced having methanol in them. There's crisis, but the prices are relatively well balanced. We are also an oil rich country. How come all of these are holding and how come we are feeling the brunt of all of this? But I'm going to allow you to freshen up.
No,
you've spoken for a while. Let me. You want to touch on that?
Yeah, let me touch on that.
Okay, I'll share that equal minutes with Yao as well.
No problem. For how long has Nigeria been an oil producing country? And for how long? Some of these things, some of these comparisons have to be made.
Does that matter?
Yes, it does. It does. You talk about the length of time and then the volume of crude oil that is. You understand?
Well, so, when you talk about volume, then you would also want to look at the proportionate, population that the volume is serving. Okay. So when you go to Nigeria, Nigeria has a population well over 206 million. We have a population of about 30 million. Nigeria produces approximately 2.5 million liters of oil per day. Ghana produced 99 gallons, 99,000 gallons of oil per day. Now, when you do the maths, okay, I know. Hold your horses. When you do the maths, all right, you realize that the proportionate. Let's say we are spreading oil, what we produce a day for every Ghanaian. We would have to. I mean, let me do the maths quickly. You would have to give each Ghanaian about 0.00100000019. I mean, the decimal value is very small. When you do that for Nigeria, it will be around 0.012. All right. If you doubt me, we can do the maths. And you realize that what you have to give to each Nigerian is even far greater than what we have to give to, each Ghanaians. But when you talk about volumes and all that, talk about the population as well.
Yes, I'll talk about, that when you are when you're in business for long, how long, when did we start having, it was during President Kufuor's time.
Okay. Ajifrida, I'll come back. I'll come back to you. Let me speak to Mr. Menu. I see you itching in your seat. What is making you uncomfortable?
Thank you. Let me say a very good morning to my party national chairman, Chairman Ofosu Ampofo. As we speak now, he and a number of the national executives are in the Asante region mobilizing their grassroots for Victory 2024. And then I want to wish them well. And then I think we've seen a number of images, how they are engaging the people, and it's impressive. And I believe if we continue like that, we will be moving somewhere. Let me also say a very good morning to my constituency, Ablekuma West. Right. And then I wish them very well this morning. Let me say a very good morning to my sister, Frida. I hope that the next time their party go for their primaries, they will bless her. But I hope that they will bless her and then give her the opportunity to represent their party, even though
she says amen to that. She didn't say it out loud.
I mean, she can represent her party, but has to represent the people. Right. When we get there, we'll have that conversation
very
too.
Well.
Ramadan knows very well that
we'll get there.
Yeah. All right. when we get there, but I think there are a number of things she said. I disagree.
Very well.
On principle.
Right.
And it is because I feel that, like I said, when we have conversations, I believe in we making progressive conversations, because it is in that will be able to shape our country to where we need it to be. Now, when we generalize and say that the whole world is having a problem, that is why Ghana is also having a problem. Then what we are telling ourselves is that because it's a world problem, there is little we can do about it. So let's just let it be. But that is not it. When you go to NPA, and when they are doing their prices, there are 3 components that they look at. One of them is the world price, and then the dollar, or the dollar rate, and then we look at the margins and taxes. So these are the 3 things that that influences the prices of the commodity. Now, where is the problem in these 3 things that I have mentioned? Has the world price increased significantly that it requires that we need to increase world prices? Is it that our dollar is not stable? That is why the prices... our CD is not stable. That is why our prices are going up. Or is it because we have introduced a number of taxes? That is why the prices are going high. If we can be able to make those analyses, then we can be able to tell ourselves that, okay, it is because of X, Y, Z. And if we can do something about this, then we can be able to stabilize the price or bring it down. See, my sister is trying to say that the president is he can't do anything. There is nothing he's going to do.
But
because
she says that the president, she speaks for the party.
I'm telling you that. Of course, she cannot come and sit here and say that the president will do nothing about it. But what I'm saying is that the president, as he's sitting there, is not going to do anything. On the GOIL thing she mentioned, by the price deregulation that we now use, I think it was passed in 2016, that we've been using to set the prices of petroleum products. There's the intervention government can only make in that is the margins and the taxes that government controls. Government cannot tell GOIL that set your prices at this. That was why I had a problem when she was making reference to President Kufuor, because at the time of President Kufuor, we were not using price stabilization. We were not using price stabilization. It was government
deregulation. Was also
deregulation. We have not done the deregulation. So if we at that stage we were not using deregulation, and you say that at that time President Kufuor did that and that, it means clearly what you are saying is a mismatch, because we are speaking about 2 different regimes.
We are looking at pre-deregulation
and post-deregulation. So I mean, President Kufuor's example doesn't really come in at all. But now let's go into what I was saying. When you look at the world price, has the world price increased? No. By how much?
Certainly, we've seen some increment in world prices.
How much?
Well, I can't calculate
right
now.
It's because it is not there. I mean, we try to import things that are not there for the convenience of a conversation. But the reality is that how much has the world price increased? But you see, we are running away from the conversation that the CD to the dollar, the CD, the performance of the CD against the dollar is not doing well. And if you are going to buy the product, you buy it with dollars. So if the dollar is not doing so, the CD is not doing well, and you are going to buy product, you need to be able to make some projections that when I'm going to the market, because by the next weekend the dollar is likely, the CD is likely to go down again. The dollar is going to go up. If the dollar is going up and you are importing the product, of course you are going to increase your export prices. It is not because the world price has increased. It is because your CD is not doing well. And the CD not doing well, is it not the work of the government? Did we not have promises from the vice president that he has locked the dollar and then he has kept the key with the IGP. Didn't we hear all those conversations? Didn't we hear conversations that if your fundamentals are not right, the dollar will expose you, and all those? Didn't we hear those conversations? What has changed? It is because the cedi is not performing. And that is why the prices keep going up. In this year alone, we are in the 3rd month. Today is 2nd. We've had about 4 increase in petroleum prices.
Exactly. Today is 3rd, actually.
Today is 3rd. We've had 4. The first one was about 0.5 increase. The second one was about 0.3. And then we have 0.58 pesos. And just yesterday, we have 0.41, about 41 pesos increase in the end. By next 2 weeks, the next petroleum window, it is likely to go up again because the fundamentals are weak.
I see.
Quite apart from that, last year, we introduced about 3 or 4 taxes on the petroleum product. Bola tax, COVID levy, and then we increased.
I think there was health as well.
There was health. We also increased some of the margins. If you increase them, do you think the prices of petrol will come down? Now, how much was the price stabilization fund levy? How much is that? So even if you gave about two months of leave of that, how significant did it impact the prices going down? It did not do anything. So you see, if we are not able to have progressive conversations and we box everything together and continue to say, oh, the whole world, there is a problem. The whole world, we are in crisis. The whole world, we are in crisis. But there are significant things we need to do. What is the problem with the dollar against the cedi? What is the problem there? On a number of platforms, I have advocated, and a number of people have equally mentioned, say, that the prices of petroleum products affect every aspect of the economy.
Certainly.
So why don't we begin to have conversations around saying that let's have a certain forex market for the petroleum sector, where those who operate in that sector, because everything about the petroleum product is passed on to the consumer. So why don't we find a certain sector, market where people who deal in that will have a certain rate when it comes to the dollar? Because as long as the dollar continue, there is a perception
they would have a particular rate, something like a cap.
A cap for them, so they have a forex that they operate within, and it is strictly for that sector, so that we can be able, because even the perception that, oh, the dollar is going to increase actually influences a number of things. So if we don't begin to make certain decisions, we will continue to say that, oh, the whole world is in crisis. So Ghana is also in crisis. The whole world is in crisis. Have they introduced COVID levy? Have they introduced Bola levy?
Tax?
Or Bola tax? Well, so what other countries are not doing, we are doing. So well, if we box the whole thing, I don't think it's progressive. There are things we need to do, and I think that this government must sit and work.
Very well. Let me come to you, Madam Frida. He has made a number of assertions, and what he took us to, I mean, these are the principles on the ground. These are factors that influences, especially the, price charges on fuel. He mentioned the international price, our exchange rates, and of course the taxes. And as it stands, we have several taxes on petroleum already. And when you calculate all of this, it amounts to almost 2 Ghana cedis. Now, on Tuesday, I was saying on PM Ghana, that is the evening version of AM Ghana that I host, that take 2 Ghana out of the current 8 cedis, and you realize that it is very significant. This tells us that he spoke much on the exchange rate. I want to touch on taxation. Okay, all of these taxes that we have introduced, and we bear witness that these are times, difficult times. COVID-19 came in. People are still, bearing the brunt. People are now trying to recover from all of this. And of course, when you look at the deregulation policy, the government of the day has very little to do about fuel pricing. What we have at least is a price recovery and stabilization levy. Many Ghanaians are calling that these are times when the policy needs to actually, be brought in to cushion Ghanaians. What are we waiting for?
I'm happy you are saying that with deregulation, government has little to do.
But at least,
which I actually disagree.
Sorry,
which I actually disagree.
You disagree
with that statement?
No, if you give me the opportunity to price my own product, don't I price it anyhow? Don't I give you any price that I think I'm convenient? That's why. That's how
these are not your own products. First off, let's bear in mind we import.
Yes, but you have given me the opportunity to price it as I wish. Now who costs them? When we were young, we could see a minister of finance on TV because government was in charge of this. Will tell you from this destination to this destination, charge this, do that, and everything was going until people came and then they brought something they called deregulation, and that is what has brought us. So you go to the pumps and everybody is charging you. Now coming to
but we have something on our hands.
Coming to your question, my brother, I don't think any government can run away from taxation. The reason is that you cannot handle the economy with your money, your own money.
That's not what your people told us. They said that they were going to take us away from taxation to production.
Of course, that is one district.
Where is the production?
That is why one district, one factory came in.
That
is why government is. Oh,
tell us. How many did you promise? How many did you promise from the first 2016? We are in 2022.
Are you saying that you have not heard anything or any about industrialization or not even one how do you call it? One industry under this administration.
Certainly we have. Certainly we have. I'm asking. I mean, looking at the progress, would you say government is really committed to?
Of course, government is committed
as a way of cushioning the economy.
Government is committed. That is why, and the one district, one factory is even encouraging existing companies, private sector, to come on board for government to cushion so that
how well has that review done? I'll call it a review because I mean it came up later on.
What came out? One district, one factory.
Of course. I mean, what you told us
was that you were going to industrialize.
You were going to build factories, and then later on, we were told that what we meant was that we are going to have private partnership.
Of course.
Yes. So that's why I'm calling it a review.
Those ones that have collapsed, those ones that people couldn't handle and collapsed. What has the government done? The government has been able to bring private people on board, and NPP, you believe in private sector participation. So the government has been able to bring private people on board, and many industries that collapsed are doing well now.
Okay, let's admit that. Let's come back.
Now coming to your question on taxation. Yes, 2 cedis is significant, but you realize that government has taken some taxes away. When you are taxing, you tax as such that the people, there are tax nets. We always say that the tax nets do not cover a lot of people in there. A lot of citizens. So when you are thinking about taxation, you think about a broader one that will cover everything. So that is why most of the time I believe that taxation is more into things that people patronize, like fuel. More or less, everybody pays for fuel. Now, if government takes the 2 cedis in the form of taxation,
what people patronize?
No, what I'm saying is that everybody, one or the other,
I just want to appeal to your thoughts. Do you think that's the best way to go? Because some of these people who patronize some of these things are not necessarily people who are working, which I think is one of the mistakes with the e-levy as well. Now if you would listen to me, I think that there are people in the country who are working, who are gaining some income. I hope you understand. And when we talk about widening the tax net, aren't these the people that we should be focusing on instead of when we say the citizenry should pay tax? Then we are targeting the JHS students. We are targeting the small boy who his mom gives him Sunday school money. Then he uses part to buy yogurt. We are taxing all of these people. When we broaden it that way, are we really focusing on the proper targets?
When did this argument come?
I mean, you were speaking.
When did this argument come?
He made an indication about the rippling effects of 4 price increments. It affects every other sector, and you're saying that. Why not tax because everybody
one or the other. When what you are talking about, why are you bringing children inside? Yes, their parents are paying them for them. Every taxation, every taxation affects even the unborn child in the womb. Because that is how it's supposed to be.
Really?
Yes, because if the mother pays, more or less, it's affecting the baby. You understand? So every taxation affects everybody, one way or the other.
Okay.
Yes. So when you say the 2 cedis is significant, which can be taken off the taxes, where is government going to get money for the industries that you just talked about?
Broaden the tax.
Now we are broadening the tax, and you are complaining that even the child going to school has to pay tax. The child will not. Yes, we are broadening the tax. Now, yesterday I heard, I think the Minerals Commission, their VAT has been reduced from 3% to 1.5 or so. Yes, some of the sectors you take out, some of the sectors you reduce, and then you take it to the a sector that will cover everything. Well, in your own words, broaden the tax net. So if government takes it from fuel, assuming government takes tax from now everybody is complaining about tax. Assuming government decides not to tax everybody, where are we going to get the money to do the industries that you are talking about?
Right.
Where is the government going to get the money to do our free SHs? Where is the government going to get the money to do our roads? Where is the government going to do to other infrastructures? So you can't say that, yes, it is significant.
You're talking about free SHs. Is it coming from our taxes?
It's coming from the citizenry.
I thought it was
one
coming
way or
from
the other.
Oil revenue. Okay, anyways. Let's hold on. Let me speak to it. Yeah, you're still giggling.
Yes. I am. You know, I'm just uncomfortable with a number of things. If we say that government can do little about the petroleum product,
yes, you said you didn't agree.
I didn't agree to that. There is a number of things that governments can do. As a matter of fact, price deregulation doesn't necessarily mean that governments cannot do much about the prices of petroleum products.
If we cannot do anything about the price, what do we do?
I'm coming. Who sets the prices?
As in on the international market, of course.
Who sets prices for X-Pump? It is not international whatever. They only sell products. So you go and buy the product. When you import goods from China, is it Chinese that sets the price?
Statements that the government cannot tell, for instance, GOIL to cap the
I'm coming into that. I'm coming into that. When you take the petroleum price build up, there are taxes, there are margins, and there are what do we call it? There is some component we call the dealer's margin and the OMC margin. Those are the only 2 components that oil marketing companies and the dealers can manipulate. All the other aspects of the price build-up is being controlled by the government.
Of course, when you talk about the OMCs manipulating these margins,
I'm saying that
they of course would be doing this at their own peril.
I'm coming. There are 2. I'm saying that amongst all the number of taxes, margins that are on the price build-up, it is only 2 components that the oil marketing companies and the dealers are able to manipulate.
Very well.
So almost every part of it is being controlled by government. So if you say government can do little about it, then I have a problem with that.
How do we expect the government to come in to control these margins?
The question you asked her, I think that there is no government that can run any economy without taxes.
Right.
That is fundamental. We can't run away from it. The problem is that what are the taxes being used for?
Okay.
Now, last year, we introduced Bola tax. If after taking Bola tax, you walk through the streets of Accra and the Bola is being collected, then you can have a sense that, yes, the tax that has been levied is in use. If you go to the price build-up and you see road levy and the road in front of your house, I'm actually doing a study with a friend about the road fund levy, how much is collected, how much of a kilometer of road that can be built with it. So if you can juxtapose or find a correlation between how much has been collected and also the number of roads that have been done, then we can be able to tell.
That would be a very deep research.
That is a study that we have started doing. because in my party we believe that we don't just come out to talk. We talk based on findings and things that has happened.
I hope you consider all other factors.
Of course, I mean,
when you're constructing roads,
I mean,
the nature of the road
and I'm saying that how much does it cost to build a 1 kilometer? So if we have collected more than enough, and we look at the number of roads that has been done, then we can say that the taxes that we are paying on our roads on petrol, that road fund, it is being used or it is being utilized. Right. It is then we can actually tell the government that you are underperforming. Of course, the obvious observation is that you won't see much road, because I have really traveled since last year and this year along our street, and we are hoping to see some work. Now
you don't use Kaneshie. Over there, there's a runabout. The constructing one.
I mean, but we know the source of funding for that project.
Okay, all right, let's move on.
So I don't want to even go into that. But there was something she said that the price deregulation was a problem. My brother, let me tell you, Reginald, it is what has saved us.
How?
But for the price deregulation,
you believe that if the government had a
they were just running away from responsibility.
I'm coming. Let your producers call NPA right now and let them tell you the computations that they have done, how much we should be paying for fuel a liter now. It could be around 8.5. But because of the allowing the market forces to work, that is why OMCs are forced to bring the prices down. I see. But for the price deregulation, a number of OMCs were going to collapse. Because if the big guys in the sector are selling at a price set by government, how about the weak ones in the sector? Were they going to survive? Do you know what the price deregulation has done for this economy? I see. So you see, that is why I say that, you know, when our brothers and our sisters from the other side are speaking, they don't tend to appreciate the impact of things. And that is why I have a problem with what she said about when you ask a question on the promise of taxation, and she said that is why they have been industrialized. But now, what was the purpose of the industrialization? From my understanding of we moving from taxation to production is to say that when we are taxing production, then we will be able to make more money, because if you say you have done one district, one factory, and those factories are being taxed, then you weigh off that tax you are going to pass on onto the ordinary Ghanaian who today is very poor under President Akufo-Addo. Because if
President Mahama, you weren't employing either, so people were actually poor.
Wasn't Ayalolo employing?
How many?
No, you're asking me a question that
if you are asking, you spoke about progressive conversations,
yes,
all right?
Yes,
and if you say under Akufo-Addo,
tell me, and I'm saying that
which president we've not had Ghanaians being poor.
I'm saying that what I'm telling you is that today, if about in 2016, you were taking 500 cities, or let's say 1,000 cities, that was about somewhere around.
You want to talk about the value of
value of the money,
right?
Today, certainly, today is. Do you have same value for that money?
Okay, all right. Well, let's wrap up.
So
on
now
this one.
on that industrialization,
just a few seconds. Let's move on to the next.
So moving to saying that you're moving us from taxation to production. If those sectors were producing, and they were producing enough that when you tax those products, you were going to have enough, it means that that project or that program is a failed program. Because it has not been able to move us from taxation. It has brought us even more taxation.
No, we can't say that program. We can't say that
it's a failed program. Wait, what was the purpose of that program?
Of course, I mean,
what was the purpose of that program? Is it not to move us from taxation to production? Has that program moved us from production
to
taxation to
production? Hold on.
But
let me conclude quickly.
Let me conclude. my sister said that we needed to do a tax system that everybody must pay, and that is why we need to introduce e-levy. I think this is the worst thing I've heard so far in this year, because
have I said e-levy?
Yes, because
you
said no.
I wanted to hear his final statement so that I know.
I never mentioned e-levy.
I think you said
I never mentioned e-levy
because I was doing a lot of listening.
I chip in quickly.
That is why I write, so that when you say things, I write them, and when I have opportunity, I speak to that. But because she's saying that when you said we need to broaden the tax net, and that is when she mentioned that is why we are bringing e-levy, so that anyways, you can go back to the tips. But what I want to actually infer from that is, if you are taxing, tax should bring about production. Now let me even give a bonus to the government. Now people are buying lands. If you want to make land productive, when you tax land becomes productive.
How?
Now,
how many people are buying land?
I'm coming. When you go to all the lands in Ghana now are owned.
But you ask yourself, what would be the purpose of the land? So if somebody is buying to build a house, to lay their, and you are taxing their houses.
Good. Don't we pay property tax? Do you know that if my sister should buy a house, buy a property at Adenta for 10 years, and she never builds anything on it, she doesn't pay any tax. If I buy a property, or I acquire an interest in land at Adenta, and I build something on it, as soon as I build on it, I'm paying property tax.
Yes, I mean that answer. But if you say that we should tax land,
I'm coming.
Now let's consider farmers as well.
Exactly.
Yes, these are people. I mean, you know, there's no chance.
Okay, that is the problem. What is farming? Is it not an economic venture?
Certainly.
If farming is an economic venture,
but then you go into farming, you realize the challenges in there as well. Let's wrap up. I think you've made your point.
He's talking about industrialization. Let me. He's talking about the impact, the impact of industrialization. When NPP came in,
what is the impact of industrialization in the current administration?
The number of people. The reason why they don't see the number of people, the huge number of people being employed under this administration is that we came to meet a chunk of unemployed people. You understand? We came to meet.
So if you give money,
no matter how,
if you give money,
she has a point. She has a point.
So no matter how much you employ, no matter. We had an administration which couldn't employ for 5 years.
That's not true.
So if I have about 1,000 people, it will take a long time for me to employ all these people. It is very true. It is very true. Did you employ or you couldn't?
We employ.
You never employed. At least in my sector as a health agent, for 5 years you didn't employ any health sector. No, you didn't. It is true. Every Ghanaian knows. Every Ghanaian knows, my brother.
We need to be progressive. This conversation.
Let's progress.
He's talking about the number of people of industrialization.
This is not
I don't know.
If you give money to Aspi Pharmaceuticals, in Asante region, who is doing, who run a pharmaceutical whatever, and then you say that you have done one district, one factory. How many, ever since you gave money to Aspi,
but
how many people are there
that you people didn't employ in their
when you gave money to, when you gave money to a
Wada,
how many people are there
employed? At least the chunk that will left behind. This administration has, you're talking about, you're talking against NAPCO, but NAPCO has employed over 100.
So what I want to ask you,
we are giving permanent jobs.
I can tell you at least 2 people that government, that's NAPCO. Permanent jobs. How many permanent jobs are you giving?
Very well.
Do you know the number of people that NAPCO has absorbed?
No.
Did you know the number of people that
we were giving permanent
jobs? It's okay. We were giving people. I'm not in employment. I have people working with me. Health people who registered with NAPCO, and now they are working. They have been absorbed.
Permanent jobs.
You were not employed for 5 years. You said I
Yao Menu speaks for the NDC and he doesn't. Guys, I'm speaking. Ghanaians are watching you. Guys. Hello. Auntie Frida. Okay. I think we'll take a quick break. Tempers are rising. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back after this one. Just stay tuned, guys.
Announcements on Adwa TV. Contact Adwa TV for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 05092577754, 02094949258, or visit our marketing desk at Stepwork Premises. Adwa TV, bringing good things to life.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with Rwandair today. Rwandair, the safest airline in Africa.
Rwandair, fly the dream of Africa.
Thanks to you for staying with us, and all is well and clear here on the coast of Adwa TV AM Ghana. I'm here with Mr. Yao Meno, who is the communication rep for the National Democratic Congress, and Madam Frida Agyemang, who speaks on behalf of the New Patriotic Party. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the banter. Now round two. in most jurisdictions they say that round one doesn't last long, but this round one, yeah. All right, now former member of parliament for the Kumbugu constituency, Ras Mubarak, has petitioned speaker to expunge some 4 members of parliament. He indicated Kennedy Ejepong. He indicated, of course, the Sarah Adjoa Safo, whose matter has been in the public for some time. He also mentioned Honorable Henry Quartey, and then Honorable Ebenezer Kojo Kum, MP for. Yes, you're surprised there. Well, I don't know, but last week thereabouts, Speaker, lamented absenteeism in parliament, and this is a former member. He's no longer in the chamber, but he feels obliged to bring to light the nature of absenteeism in parliament. What do you make of his petition? Do you think it's a petition in the right order?
Thank you. I think that I agree with him. It's in order, and the problem we are having now, I think that is why a number of people, some of them are constitutional issues that we really need to look at. Because when you look at our constitution, it says that a number majority of ministers should come from parliament.
Okay.
Because in those days, it could help because we were developing democracy. And if you were going to go strict separation of powers, then it was going to be very expensive for a developing country like ours to be able to sustain that kind of government machinery, that you have a strict separation where the parliament focuses on legislation and government focuses on government, executive focuses on the executive activities. But I think that, of course, this is a fundamental problem. And I think this is what a number of people have called for. And because of the beneficiaries of these things, it becomes difficult for you to have a referendum to change some of them. Because, I mean, the reason why some people are fighting so hard to go to parliament is so that they can have opportunities to become ministers and all that, because that is the constitutional provision. So people are doing everything possible to go to parliament. And then they go to parliament and then they are given opportunity to become ministers. And when you become a minister, it comes with a lot of work that you need to do, which will require that a number of times you will be absent and you will not be around and all that. So people like Becca Verma, or who has been for the past 2 weeks, we are showing him power. You know, we are showing him that people have, there is power in this country. I mean, by keeping him, I think that is unnecessary for keeping him, because they have called that we need to change things. And sometimes it appears that the only means that some of these things can change is by revolution. The only way that some of these things that people who are already in power gets to benefit, the only way you can change some of those things are by revolution. And I think that some of the people who are calling for some of these revolutions to happen, of course, when you talk, then you are intimidated. When you talk, and now just like...
Are you saying that, you know, based on the unhappiness of Kenyans as to how things are going, that a revolution should be the way?
Of course, I mean, people are not happy. And when people are not happy, there are so many ways that...
What would a revolution change?
I'm coming. Now,
I don't want us to divert. But since you've mentioned,
I'm not doing
quickly,
that. What I'm trying to say is that prior to 2016, Nana Addo Dankwa, if my memory sets me right, said that the happenings in the country could necessitate what was happening within the Arab areas where there was the Arab Spring, because people were generally not happy. Today, the ordinary Ghanaian is not happy. I don't think I am a happy person.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who said it.
I'm coming.
Where the person said it.
Of course,
the substantive question. What would a revolution change?
What a revolution can change, when you look at some of the theories, I mean, advanced by people like Kelsen and Phoenix and all those people, it tells to suggest that if the current order or the current ground norm is not actually at the benefit of the people, through revolution, some of those things get changed. Because if you look at our constitutions from 1954,
when we have a revolution, we won't have a constitution anymore. So let's put the constitution aside. It's okay. You have your thing. Let's wrap on that. I don't want us to go on that.
Let me wrap up on that. Let me just finish on that. You see, the fact that a constitution is overthrown doesn't mean that laws don't work.
Who says laws work?
Whose law? Which law?
Who says laws
work? Which
law
is going to work?
Do you know?
Let
me answer that. Do you know that when the constitution is suspended, all the acts that has been passed are still in operation?
How?
Because it's in operation.
Where were the acts picked from?
The acts that has been passed from 1954, 1957.
Right.
They are in operation.
We will see about that. We'll talk about that later.
So what I'm saying is that
Ras Mubarak, I gave you 30 seconds.
Ras Mubarak called for that, but the fundamental thing is that the house of the president is not in order.
That is not the house of the president.
It is the house of the president. The members of parliament that has been mentioned. Don't we have a minister in there what is the justification
That
for Honorable Adwoa Safo refusal to perform parliamentary duties and ministerial duties?
All right.
What has the president done about it? What we have rather heard is that monies were actually sent to her. Now we are saying that we don't have money. Now we are saying that the poor people must be taxed.
Okay.
Now this poor people's tax that they collect is being used
you
to rent
believe
private
that
jets.
What is
to
your
rent
proof
private
that
jets.
whatever
Let me
I will
come to you.
Honorable Adwoa Safo was from the nation's office.
Is Freedom Opare not a public officer? Is Freedom Opare not a public officer? Freedom Opare is it not a public officer?
We are not progressive.
Y'all started
progressive.
nicely.
This is not progressive.
Y'all started nicely. Y'all started nicely about Ras Mubarak's call for the heads of four people.
Are you bothered that the people Ras Mubarak is calling for are all coming from the side of
I am not bothered.
NPP?
You should be worried.
No, I'm not. Why should I be worried when somebody is speaking the truth?
Right.
That is my
You
basis.
should be worried that
We
your
should
party
all-
people
yeah,
don't go to
we should
parliament.
all-
That's her
we should-
opinion.
I'm coming there. You should we all know that Honorable Adwoa Safo, even NPP, some of our people are calling on the speaker to declare her seat vacant.
Yes.
So what are you talking about? Now, in as much as Honorable Ras Mubarak was a former MP and a Ghanaian, he has the right to say what he is saying. And it's in order.
Okay.
Because you have been voted into power, your people pushed you there to represent them.
So you agree that these ministers,
I am coming there.
MPs
No, you know
are
what?
not really.
No, I'm coming there. That was why I'm saying that you have started
Because
on the right premises.
I tell you
but
what.
where he went, now
I tell you. Let me share
every
this with you.
speaker, no speaker after speaker, that has cried the same cry. Every speaker, at least, I know.
You're talking about past speakers.
Professor Michael
Quay.
Professor Michael Quay, my own grandfather, as speaker and ex-president Kofo, Honorable Ajete, they were all crying the same. The reason is that, as my brother said, majority of ministers come from parliament. That was why I'm saying that he started on the right premises. So if something can be done, referendum, anything, so that the members of parliament that are coming out from parliament will go down, so that they can, because if you have a meeting at 8 o'clock,
ministers that are coming out of
parliament,
right.
yes, because it's the percentage is much higher than those being taken from. So if the number can go down by referendum or any bill that will go to parliament, then because if a minister has, look at what, I'm surprised that Honorable Kwame Korte's name is, look at what he's doing. He's moving up and down. So if he's supposed to have a meeting at 8 a.m., can he go to parliament?
Right.
So these are some of the things that governments and then even parliament should look at. That's what I'm saying that. But what I want to, Ras Mubarak, when Ras Mubarak was in power, was in parliament, didn't he see NPP, NDC people not going on parliament? Even now that he's mentioned the names of some NPP, does he have all NDC members going to parliament?
That's
why did it? No, charity begins at home.
That's why
if he had, no, I'm not saying. I said even our members have called for the head of Honorable Adwoa Safo. So it means that one way or the other we are doing the right thing. Is Honorable Kennedy Agyapong not going to parliament? Was he not ill? Somebody who was ill and was on treatment. Didn't speaker know about it?
But the substance of it is that the substance of it is that those who have left without permission. And according to Ras Mubarak, he says he's aware.
Are these four people? You know, are these four people the only people who don't go to parliament and a speaker doesn't know about it? If he had even mentioned one name, then I'll say that Ras Mubarak is doing the right thing. At least he's hitting on his own. Just as NPP, we are hitting on Adwoa Safo very hard. Right. But you have left your people who are also not going to parliament, and you are just talking about charity begins at home. Somebody tell him for me that charity begins at home. You should tell his people to go to parliament before, if you direct one finger on somebody, the four others that are pointed at you. Right. So tell me, the call is in perfect, it's in order.
Right.
But every coin has two sides. Hit your people and hit others. We know that Mubarak is doing the right, but you don't leave your people who are doing the same, having the same offense, and then you hit on other people. No,
well, I think.
Let me go to what my brother said about the. And I'm happy. I'm happy that not all NDC people are for coup d'etat. At least I think former Ambassador Beho this morning speaking against it. He said those who are calling from these people are being childish. I listened to his audio this morning. If the name is right. So please, please, I didn't want to go there. If there's a coup d'etat, my brother, he said something. He said even soldiers who are fighting over a girl with another man will go straight and kill the woman in the name of coup d'etat.
That's not true.
So it is go and look for his tape and listen.
No, thank you very much. Thank you.
If there is coup, he will not be sitting here as a lawyer. As a lawyer, you will not be sitting here. Somebody has done something which is not right. Somebody has done something which is not right.
That's not right. No, they should stop the intimidation.
What is intimidation? What is it?
Do you know that?
Listen, what is intimidation?
Guys,
What even a member of parliament?
Can we sign off? Can we sign off properly? Can we sign off properly? Yaumenu speaks for